Thanks very much. Animation. So I'm Seb Ruiz. I'm a Fisheye and Crucible team lead. And I just wanted to give you a little rundown about what I do, and maybe you guys come in. Come on. I just wanted to give you a little run through about what I'm doing, and maybe you guys can pick up a few tips about how I run my team. So I'm a team lead for Fisheye and Crucible. I've got 5 developers, and really why I work is really to deliver really exceptional code in our products. And I work tightly with the developers and with product management to do so. So I actually only recently moved from a software development capacity as a developer writing code into management. And while I was doing that, I really found that I could really optimize a lot of those processes, and I wanted to do more coding. You know, being a developer, I found it like really satisfying. And I found during the search that a lot of those sort of improvements that I made for myself could be sort of applied to my team and maybe even to you guys as well. So to begin with, I really feel that planning is imperative to any good software team. We use Greenhopper and Jira to really give us this transparent overview about the work that we have to do and what's coming up. You know, it's really important that the team knows what work they can do, when they can do it, who's assigned, and importantly, the priorities of issues. But at the end of the day, that comes down to not having to worry about who to ask for doing work, and being able to actually just get into the flow of doing work and into getting high velocity in your sprints. However, my job, I realized, isn't really just getting work, like organizing work for people. Otherwise, I'd just be pushing things around. It'd be a little bit boring. So actually, one of my main drives is really delivering that exceptional code. But the second part is really creating an environment with my team where we can actually produce and allow the developers to actually write that fantastic code. Because no matter how good they are, if they don't have the opportunity to do so, then they won't. So I guess as being a team lead, but also as a software developer, I recognize how important it is to understand what's happening in my repository. And I do that in a number of ways, actually. I used to do it like this. I used to open up my terminal and do a log of my commits, and it was a nightmare. You can't read that because I can't read that, and I'm standing right here. I have to trawl through hundreds of lines of text. I hated it, having to use grep. Don't do that. Cut out any avoidable things that you can. I use Fisheye now for that, actually. I get emails of all my commits, so whenever somebody in my team makes a change, I get an email, it lands up in my inbox. And this is really beneficial to me because I'm able to do my own time planning. I don't have to worry about missing changes or not having a good grasp. But it's actually really convenient because I don't have to then go and interrupt somebody on my team to find out when they're working, what they're doing, you know. Adam, are you actually fixing that, or did you actually intend on doing something else? So I go back to Jira, to Greenhopper to see what they're working on. But it's also really easy for me to drill down and find more information. Now, you guys are probably thinking, well, why would I want to get an email for every single commit that happens in my repository? I've got 30 developers on my team. I'm getting 300 commits a day. It's just going to flood my inbox. It sounds like micromanagement. It sounds like overkill. And to be honest, yeah, maybe it is. But this is why you have to really tailor what information you're seeing into only what you need. There's no point in seeing what you don't need. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of everyone's time. So filter it down. Now, being able to see what's happening currently is only half the picture when you work in a team. We are what we were before. You know, our past really influences our future, and to do that, we need tools that can help us really unlock that information that we have. And we use Fisheye internally ourselves, and we use it a lot, but I didn't really understand why we used it until I actually asked a few Atlassians. And this is what they said, right? They said that they wanted to find something out. They wanted to know who did something when. They wanted to know who's been working on what, because they're interested in somebody's code. They want to find something specific, something that happened 2 years ago because they found some bug, or they want to find some particular history. But again, they told me all this, and I said, well, that's good, but how does that actually help you as a development team? You know, why is that beneficial so it helps you? Until the following quote came out, and I've never heard a better quote about fisheye. And it was, it gets people out of my face, right? People out of my face. And I was like, well, wow, why? Why does it get people out of your face, and why does it actually matter? And at the end of the day, distractions really are the peril of all productivity. If I go over to Matt over there, and he's working on some work, and I say, Matt, what are you doing here? What happened there? I've just caused him a giant context switch. He's lost all this information he's loaded into his head, and he has to then start up again. You're spending an hour of work, you get a 20-minute distraction in there, you've lost 2 hours of work. I want to avoid this. I want to avoid animals fighting in my team, I want to avoid hair pulling, and I definitely want to avoid gang warfare. So there are a number of different ways that you can really do this, and it's really all about using tools to help you manage your time, but also remove those distractions. So doing, for example, asynchronous code reviews. That allows Matt, in this case, create a review, and I can get to it in my due time. I don't have to context switch, get out of what I'm working on, and then suddenly look, hey, there's a bug there, that's wrong, I'm not really so impressed with this. I can do it in my own time. So using tools that you have at your disposal to really allow you to cull back on the information that you're seeing, on the distractions that you're getting yourself, but also the distractions that you're imposing on the other people, on the rest of the people in your team, can really affect the development speed and the velocity that your team is working at. Reviews as well. I'm sure, like you just heard Jeff speak. Increases knowledge sharing, really important. Reduces those information silos. I know that if somebody in my team gets hit by a bus, the only problem I'll have is that they got hit by a bus. Not that I lost some information, right? Terrible thing to be in, but... So the other thing that I've really learned is that change is really good. Change is really good. A lot of people resist change and they think, hey, I don't want to screw up the status quo. I don't want to... Well, it's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But at the end of the day, I really believe that if you take drastic measures of changing things, you'll always come out on top somewhere. And the other thing to really know is, like, to really be aware of, is that change needs to be tweaked. You know, you make a change, it seems terrible. You lost a few hours' work, you know. But if you modify those processes and you're constantly iterating over them, like you would do in your agile development, you're iterating over your processes, you're working, you're finding bugs. Find bugs in your processes and improve those. They'll boost your productivity. They'll boost the code quality that you're writing because your processes are better. So a few of the changes that we've made in the last 6 months have really made big impacts. One that I don't actually have up here is related to Crucible, where we found that we were doing so much code and everything gets reviewed for quality purposes that we were becoming bottlenecks to each other. You know, I had 10 reviews to complete for my team, and because I was just letting them go because I had other work, my team members would be to me, hey Seb, can you just fix this review, just finish it, I just need to move on to new work. By having these bottlenecks, we were causing the developers to not be able to move on, to find new work. They'd stop coding. These were implicit interruptions that we never really realized. So we created this Inbox Zero, Crucible Inbox Zero, where every Tuesday and every Thursday, it's mandated by Fisheye and Crucible law that you have 0 reviews by the time you go home. If you're struggling with a problem like that, try it out. It's really effective. We've added quality review stages to Jira workflows and testers so that it's in the front of our minds that when we're working through through tasks, that we're actually testing them over the shoulder and getting somebody next to us to say, hey, Jeff, can you just like make sure that I haven't really made a boo-boo? Or really hardline features that, processes that we imposed just a month ago. So we've just released Fisheye 2.6, and we said a month ago we went into hardening, and we decided that every single commit had to be on its own feature branch. every feature branch had to be completely reviewed. Every branch had to have its tests and our CI totally passing in green before we would merge that into our production code. And that immediately should ring bells to you saying, but that's not removing obstacles, that's actually introducing obstacles to your code, to your team, you know? Why am I adding extra steps now? But it's all about that iteration of process, and at the end of the day, the goal for you should be to produce spectacular code and features, and you do that by having processes that are changed, that adapt to where you are in the current stage. So what might work for you at the beginning of the release might totally not work for you at the end. Like in the last 3 weeks, I didn't do any agile work. I didn't do a backlog. I just had a list of things we had to get done. And we powered through them. Like we powered through them, but it wouldn't work at the beginning of a release. So adapt those processes that you have. But ultimately, it comes down to these following points, that take away any unnecessary information that you have, you know. Some of you out there, I'm a bit like this. I like to see everything. I'm a curious person. I like to know what people are working on. But at the end of the day, that really takes away time from me to be spending time where I want to be spending it, or where I need to be spending it, which is writing code or understanding what's happening in a new release. Find the information you need quickly. Use the tools that you have, whatever those tools are, leverage them. Use them together. Remove interruptions both from yourself and from your developers. You know, take them away. I haven't told my team this, but I'm considering just having like a 2-hour blockout zone every day where nobody's allowed to talk to anyone else, and see how that goes. Headphones on, don't talk to me. No meetings like after lunch. Those sorts of things. And improve your processes. It's really important that you adapt. If it's not working or you feel like you can improve it, just try it. It doesn't matter if it fails, as long as you fail fast, because you might not realize that your current processes are actually failing. And just try and code, try and write spectacular stuff, and maybe our tools can help you do that, and I really hope so. And thanks very much.